What if I told you you've been paying for data you'll never actually use? Or better yet, you're about to buy something you'll never fully take advantage of. Because while Whoop is an incredible fitness tracker, after spending a year and a half with it, I started wondering whether most people actually need everything it's selling. Because this made me question my entire experience with Whoop, the Fitbit Air. Let me go back in time to make you understand where I'm coming from. I first started wearing Whoop December 26, 2024, and I first got it because, well, to me, sleep is extremely important. Sleep and stress, whatever makes my body kind of go, you know? I had a huge honeymoon stage with it. I even started tracking my exercises as I was trying to recoup from my ankle injury. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had this massive injury a year prior, and I'm still kind of trying to get back into it. But Whoop for me was the ultimate way to try and keep my body in check. From December 26, 2024 all the way to May 8, 2025, I wore Whoop religiously. Every day I was like tracking sleep, stress, and from time to time, my fitness journey. Then Whoop 5.0 came out. I actually ended up getting the Whoop MG, but man, that release was actually extremely controversial. You see, the problem was that the controversy had very little to do with the actual hardware and more with the fact that Whoop introduced an upgrade. Many longtime members, they felt like their subscription was an investment into future hardware, only to discover that upgrading to Whoop 5.0 wasn't as straightforward as they expected. The backlash, it became like so loud across Reddit and social media that Whoop, but they eventually revised its policy, offering free upgrades to many existing members. But honestly, by that point, personally, I think like the damage had already been done. The conversation was no longer about the new sensor, battery life, or health features. It was all about trust. It actually left a weird taste in my mouth, to be honest, although as time went on, I still kept using it. I love the battery life. I get about 3 weeks of use. I love the consistent data because I don't need to ever take it off to charge it. However, showers, I stopped doing that at the end of my 4.0 ownership. The band actually started to smell and it got nasty over time. But yeah, genuinely, I love all the data. Although there's so much data in this thing, guys, that it starts to feel like it's useless. Like, I personally felt like I was given so much data and I was barely ever scratching the surface with it, because the reality is that I'm not a professional athlete. Whoop to me is for people who take sports very seriously. Sports, they're like a funnel. To perform at your best, you need to sleep well, eat properly, recover, manage stress, journal every day, monitor your HRV, and understand how your body is responding to training. It's not just about tracking your workouts and so on. You need to understand the data and make modifications to your daily life. And a lot of that will be useful with the help of a personal trainer and probably a training facility that like monitors you all the time. Whoop is like some serious stuff, and I enjoy using mine because I get that consistent data, like I said. And it might not be the most accurate data ever. Some do love how accurate sleep is, and others hate how heart rate accuracy is more mixed depending on the activity. I think the consistency of this data is honestly its strongest selling point. But for $30 a month, I'm not sure I'm personally taking full advantage of it. And then, well, Fitbit came into my life.
Technically, this is what charges the band, which is okay, but what I like with the Whoop is that, well, you charge this little dongle first, right, via USB-C, and then you pretty much slide it in here and it charges the Whoop, meaning that you don't need to take the bracelet off. So it's something like this. Bam. And that's how your Whoop charges. And this, for me personally, is what allows me to have consistent data. data all the time because I don't need to be thinking about, oh, I just took this off, I gotta put it on. I'm the type of person that just forgets to put things on. I know it sounds stupid, but that's the type of person I am. And so that means that I like the fact that when this is dying, I just slide it in, let it charge. Sometimes I even forget to take off the charger, but at least I'm always getting my data. Of course, the cool thing about this is that, well, you don't need a membership. Now, I'm about to try battery life on this thing. Let's see how it performs.
The first thing I noticed was the difference in battery life. I mean, Fitbit for me was able to deliver 10 days of constant battery life, while Whoop has constantly been delivering a bit more than 15 days or so. The app, man, my God, totally different. The first day it took me quite a bit of time to figure it out, but it's honestly super intuitive. Underwhelming, I would say, coming from Whoop. But look, looking for workouts is easy. I do like how their notifications panel keeps track of your workout. Love how you can rate the workouts right away when you're done. And honestly, I felt comfortable the very first time I got my final report for the very first workout I ever did. And what I mean about that is that it wasn't overwhelming. I understood the numbers I was seeing. Anyways, it took about 7 days for this thing to get used to me. However, calories burned from that first session I ever had was pretty accurate.
I was told I was gonna burn around 450 calories. 370.
Probably close to 450.
451. Pretty freaking accurate. So there goes my first workout ever with the Fitbit Air. Pretty good. Here you go, the stats. Man, I feel dead. Pretty good workout sesh.
Comfort. Comfort is something I noticed right off the bat. The Fitbit Air is actually very well designed, although not perfect. The band is extremely comfortable and it allows your skin to breathe quite well. The buckle though, it does make it sit a bit squared, if it makes sense. Very similar to the straps from the Omega Swatch collection, but man, do I appreciate the size of this freaking tracker. I mean, it is tiny. You don't have a bulky case. It's light on the wrist. The band is easy to take off. Inside the pill, you will find green LEDs for heart rate, infrared sensors, and accelerometers for movement and sleep detection. No screen, no nothing. It is a simple. Compared to the Whoop, however, I do admire the clasp the Whoop delivers. I love having the wrist tightness preset on my Whoop at all times, in contrast to this where you need to tighten the band each time you put it on and take it off. But overall, I love the minimal feel on the wrist, and it gives something like my watch more presence. By the way, a Whoop reminds you when your wearable is off your body, which for me has become an important reminder. Fitbit, however, well, it doesn't, which I feel like it would be such a cool addition to add. I don't understand why they didn't, because Fitbit is so small and so light that you kind of forget that you're either wearing it or you're not wearing it. And to sleep, I mean, I think it's like one of the most important things. It's actually so good. I never thought I would say this, but a lot more comfortable than Whoop. And that's because, well, it's skinnier and it bulges less. So if you often have the bed pressing on your wrist, you barely ever feel it. And my sleep/morning routine, well, it's been fantastic. The sleep data I get from it for me is enough. This did come with a 3-month free trial of Google Health Premium, which means that I use the AI coach to often track my meals more than anything. So for $99 a year, you can supercharge your Fitbit, if that makes sense. But all the other tracking features, all of that is pretty much free and comes with your $100 purchase, which for me has been more than enough data, really, yeah. However, sleep tracking can be a bit funky.
Now, Whoop is a tiny little bit more accurate, and I will tell you why. So, I have 7 hours and 35 minutes of sleep, which is exactly the amount of time I slept. And Fitbit Air thinks I slept a bit more because I did stay in bed for like 45 minutes just scrolling on my phone. 30, 45 minutes or whatever. So I think that Whoop is more accurate when it comes to sleep. It really knows when you're getting out of bed.
Whoop's sensor is able to definitely tell a lot more accurately when you are out of bed and done sleeping, which is why sleep scores and sleep data have been different from time to time, but not always. Like I said, if I stay in bed on my phone for more than 15 minutes, Fitbit thinks I'm still sleeping. And this is a discrepancy I've seen within a few of my morning routines, as I've been using Whoop and Fitbit Air at the same time. Regardless, when accurate, Fitbit still delivers a good amount of useful data with sleep metrics that allow you to look beyond a simple sleep score, and it helps you understand what actually contributed to a good or bad night's sleep. But yeah, every day I was tracking my sleep, especially the days where I was really going to the gym. Google Health Premium, if it's something you want to pay for, does a relatively good job at preparing your mornings based on your breakfast and your sleep. And that is something I kind of really enjoyed, mainly because the feedback is simple and interpreting that data as well. You don't need a personal coach to help you understand total wake time, REM, light and deep sleep. Time to sound sleep tells you how long it took your body to settle into sleep. Sound sleep measures how much steady, uninterrupted sleep you actually got. And restlessness tracks the moments where you were technically asleep, but your body was still moving, steering, or struggling to stay in a restful state. Together, they paint a much more complete picture than simply telling you that you slept for 8 hours. And really, the more you train it, the more it'll be able to assess your data tailored to your needs. By the way, you won't find the level of data complexity in this that the Whoop delivers, but honestly, for 99% of people, it's way more than enough. In fact, I actually admire that when I was traveling, it knew I was all jet lagged without me having to tell it, which is pretty cool. Turns out that, well, I did go to California for WWDC, and the tracker does a really good job at keeping up with my bad habits that come from jet lag. It's able to give you proper assessments of your sleep and recovery based on your trip and what you're doing. And that is something I found really added to my sleep and recovery experience. I will say, my God, do I find myself sleeping more when I'm going to the gym. I actually been sleeping a lot more than usual. The gym is something I've been taking quite seriously for the past 3 months. I have a personal trainer that guides me and pushes me into this fitness journey. I'm trying my best to stay consistent and stay disciplined. And I genuinely find that having a tracker makes all of it even better. I love logging my workouts, checking out the data, tracking my strain and calories. Fitbit is very much able to deliver enough data for me to take action without over complicating it. And I love its simplistic ways of delivering workout overviews. Unlike Whoop, where everything is like a damn graph, really. Now, a couple of things. I love how the health app delivers the information needed as notifications, unlike Whoop. I do love that the heart rate with both devices are pretty much the same, although calories burnt is where they tend to differentiate quite a bit. I'm not sure why the difference, but it was often so. Do note though that calories burnt is probably one of Whoop's weakest metrics, and it's been criticized for years. When it comes to auto detection, man, Whoop is really, really good. Whoop does an incredible job at auto detecting what you're doing. Fitbit, however, is not necessarily the best at it.
First day of soccer, I wanted to bring my camera outside, but it's currently raining. I have my Fitbit Air. So I'm gonna see if the app will automatically detect whether I'm playing soccer or not, because I was doing something during the week and it thought I was doing lacrosse. Anyways, let's see if it's accurate for soccer.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I'm a bit annoyed because my Fitbit Air is not syncing, so I can't tell whether or not it read whatever I was doing, which was playing soccer. You guys can see, I don't know if you can see that, but it's not syncing. Very annoyed. So yeah, I'm just waiting. I don't know, I wasn't too far away from my phone. My phone was on the sidelines and I was just playing. It says can't connect to your Fitbit Air, make sure it's powered on and near your phone. That sucks. It's the first time I'm away from the phone far-ish. So not sure what's going on with my Fitbit Air. It says it's connected, but when I go on the app, it won't connect at all. It still says looking. That's weird.
Yeah, it actually took like 30 minutes for it to reconnect and sync, and then all of that to find that it indeed kind of sucks at auto-detecting which activities you're doing. I actually say that it's pretty much like on and off when it comes to detecting complex activities. For simple activities though, like going for a walk is pretty solid. I remember when I was in California, I had woken up pretty early and I decided to go for a little walk. When I came back, I had gotten a notification and it was able to give me feedback based on how my week was going and updated my activities by adding that walk.
So I was just filming this thing for the World Cup. And I really like the fact that with the minimum exercise I was doing, which wasn't anything really because I was filming, but I love the fact that it didn't trigger an activity within Fitbit. As you guys can see, today is Thursday and last time I did any exercise was Tuesday. I am going to the gym today, however. And then Whoop as well, it didn't read any exercises. Usually it appears right here within this graph. There's nothing there. Turns out that my Fitbit Air is not the only thing that's dying. Now, apparently 5 minutes of charge can deliver up to a day of battery life. Now, I am going to test that, not only for the video, but it's because I'm going to the gym in like 30 minutes. 5 minutes is enough for me to get ready and just like dip. So yeah, let me connect this right here. There you go, 5 minutes now. Okay, timer done. Let's see. So in 5 minutes, you can get 24%. And we're going to test this, okay? We're going to test this. We'll see if this actually lasts a day.
Between workouts, using the AI coach, and even changing phones, by Saturday, almost like 2 days later, the Fitbit was at 3% and it needed a charge. The only thing I really don't like about it is having to take it off to charge it, really.
And here is where the Whoop is actually a lot more superior than the Fitbit Air, in my opinion, because, well, I'm charging the Fitbit Air, which means that it's no longer on my wrist. And while this is happening, well, turns out that I have a family dinner tonight that I have to attend, which I don't know when I'm going to be back, which means that there is a lot of data that won't get sent to the app because I'm not wearing it. But with the Whoop, what I really, really like with the Whoop is that you have that little charger that you slide into the device and then it just charges as you're doing your thing. And then you take it off whenever it's done charging. And, well, you get consistent data.
I've gotta say though, connectivity wise, the Whoop is so damn annoying. When I changed from Android to iPhone, man, it made me realize how much easier it is to connect the Fitbit. In fact, like connecting Fitbit is so damn easy. The app actually asks you if you wanna reconnect it to your account and then bam, it connects, no questions asked. Whoop on the other hand, although it finds the damn device, for the connection to actually go through, you gotta tap the tracker, but it is the most annoying thing in the world because you need to put it into pairing mode. And those freaking taps, often, they take forever to register. It actually is incredibly annoying and the most frustrating thing about it. However, battery life, I gotta give it to it. It easily delivers 15 days. Like easily delivers 15 days. The Fitbit Air, around 10 days, like I mentioned. So yeah, I mean, in that aspect, Whoop is indeed superior. But what about the app? Yeah, what about the app? Whoop is, it's so much more complex. The app delivers an interface that is overwhelming. Sometimes you get confused and what you think is not an UI element, well, it turns out that it finally is. And that element will then bring you to like more complex data and more tabs and more pages. There are just like so many numbers, it gets complicated. Fitbit, however, is simple. Some may say too simple. In fact, I keep seeing people complaining about the Google Health app. I think a lot of the frustration comes from longtime Fitbit users having their familiar app completely replaced overnight. The old Fitbit app was designed around data. Google Health is designed around guidance, often delivering AI suggestions and activity summaries, coaching. A feature I enjoy, and more than anything, it is something I heavily use to input my meals and to input my hydration. But Fitbit veterans often just want sleep scores, workout histories, and heart rate trends. However, someone like me who's coming from Whoop, well, I love the UI. The one thing though that I kind of miss, I actually really miss this, I hate that Fitbit doesn't have stress tracking. But really, the app is so simple. I find the tabs are well compartmentalized. Finding workouts is easy. The sleep tab is great. The health tab is pretty advanced. I mean, at the end of the day, you can still add medical records, set up some health notifications. There are tons of focus areas that deliver an incredible amount of information you might want to check out. I don't want to make it seem like it's not advanced because it can get quite advanced and complex. However, of course, not as much as Whoop. But the surprising thing with Fitbit Air is that, well, you only have to pay once, or you can also pay and enjoy the wellness coach it offers. So Fitbit gives you that flexibility. You're dealing with Gemini, which is better for AI, which is something I actually found myself using, like I said, more and more as I was going through the days. I mean, from telling it about myself to logging meals and asking it about my day, I do find myself enjoying that side of Fitbit more and more. But really, the nicest thing about it is that it's slim, the battery is really good, and you have the core features you need and more to get you going. It really is a device I admire using, and I will be going from Whoop to Fitbit. And so really, I keep telling everyone the same thing. Everyone keeps asking me, what do you prefer, Whoop or Fitbit? And this is what I tell them. If you are a professional athlete and you need all the data in the world to make you that much better, right? Then go for Whoop. You are going to be paying a premium, but the data is definitely there. Although not perfect, is definitely there. However, if you are like me and you're like 99% of people who just want a health tracker, Fitbit is most likely the way to go. And you can also pay a month if you want that AI coach, which will benefit you even further. But you have that choice. Now, if you guys have any questions, just leave them down below because this is my new health tracker.